Today's the day that we celebrate the very best, the very worst, and everything in between in all the motorsport that we follow. It's time for the 6th annual Motorsport 101 Awards show. And here are your hosts, Cam Buckley, Ryan King, RJ O'Connell, and Andre Harrison.
Hey, thank you, Johnny Gilbert. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Wait, this wasn't the audition for Jeopardy? Shit. Hi, it's the Motorsport 101 Awards show. Good evening, everybody. I'm your friendly neighborhood host, Trey Harrison, and welcome to the 6th Motorsport 101 Awards show. If you're curious about what happened to the 5th, it got cancelled due to COVID-19. But good news is, we are all still socially distanced here. We're all welcome, everybody. But
I'm going to sing Imagine by John Lennon. For no reason to inflate our own egos, not for anybody else's betterment.
The panel is already half drunk because RJ's cup is full of blueberry wine. It could be a long hour or so.
That's delicious. It's 3 years vintage.
3 years, wow. Excellent. But yeah, gentlemen, how are we doing on this final award show? Have Merry Christmas, everybody, as well, by the way.
Merry Christmas and a happy 2022. It'll be a brand new year by the time that you, the public, listen to this episode. In fact, Dre, if I'm not mistaken, it is just past midnight where you are.
Yes, it is. Eve. It is New Year's Eve in the UK as we speak, 13 minutes past midnight here in the UK. It's the last day of 2021, and I think I speak on behalf of most people when I say, fuck, thank God that's over. Yes, onwards to 2022 and the 6th wave of COVID. Shit. But we will still soldier out an award show, talking about the best, the worst, and everything in between when it comes to motorsport in the year of our Lord 2021. With me, we have Ryan King, of course, RJ O'Connell, and Cam Buckley. We will run you through the nominations, and then we will get into a huge fight to determine who wins each category. For those guys who are unaware, because for some reason I am host, I apparently get cast in votes. Although I'm not normally that drunk with power. I am normally a people person, because, like Emperor Palpatine, I love democracy. Maybe. We'll see how we go. But, yeah, I think Annual Award Show will be live right after this. But first, places you can find us real quick. We're on youtube.com/Motorsport101. We're on Facebook.com/Motorsport101. We're on Twitter at Motorsport_101. Our personal handles are on the screen now if you're watching on YouTube. If not, they're at Harrison101HD, at Ryan Eric King, at CBuckley917, and at RJ O'Connell. We're on Instagram at Motorsport101pod. We are on... we are also on our website, motorsport101.com, and if you really like us, you can back us financially on Patreon, patreon.com/motorsport101. All a bunch of perks and whatnot on there as well. Yeah, there's our website. It's all fancy stuff now.
There is our privacy policy.
Important stuff.
Because we care about we care about your choices as to how much personal information you share with us.
It's important. It's very important. I'm glad we showed that off for the viewing public to see. So, we've got our punch. We've all sat down and may the games begin. Welcome to the Motorsport 101 6th Annual Awards Show. And we start off with the 2021 Race of the Year Award.
And I thought we were going to start off with like 10 minutes of topical humor that's bound to age poorly, and some of it's off color and way out of pocket.
Do I look like Ricky Gervais to you? Don't answer that.
No. We would never compare ourselves to that fat fuck. This is not to like make fun of anybody's weight.
And that's where we cut. That's where we cut with some intense freeform jazz and then overhead shots of all of our cities.
We polled our entire Motorsport 101 listener base. Listen, I know we're not the largest podcast, but hey, you know what? We found a niche and we're good with it. And the top 4 vote getters of each category have progressed to the stage where their nominations have been read out.
Right, so your nominees for the Race of the Year are Formula One's Brazilian Grand Prix, the Lewis Hamilton comeback heard around the world. Formula E's Monaco E-Prix, the dive bomb scene around the world. The 2021 Indianapolis 500 is on the shortlist. Helio's fourth majestic win. And MotoGP's Austrian Grand Prix. Lord Shithouse Binder for the win. So, gentlemen, which way are we going for the 2021 Race of the Year?
I would like to start by making my case for the 2021 Indianapolis 500. This was actually one of my nominations. I remembered to submit in a nomination in a timely manner for change. This race had everything, including a historic outcome, the reintroduction of fans after we didn't have it in 2020, a much improved quality of race, not just in competition, but also in quality. This was the fastest Indianapolis 500 on record. The driving standards were immense. Pit lane entry incidents not included. We had some surprising comeback performances, including Simon Pagenaud. We saw some great breakout performances, people like Connor Daly, Rinus VeeKay, Pedro Acosta, Alex Palou. And, of course, we had the scenes of Elio celebrating an improbable fourth record-tying victory. That is my case for the Indianapolis 500, and that is why I nominated it.
Jake, what about you?
Monaco. Formula E. Monaco E-Prix. New classic. Who needs the Monaco Grand Prix? Get rid of that.
This is the Monaco Grand Prix now, basically.
Yeah.
That's as good a point as any. You know, we've single-handedly replaced the Monaco Grand Prix with the Monaco E-Prix. It's just better in every way.
Yeah, you can actually pass people here.
I know! It's great, isn't it? Cam, what do you reckon?
See, my nomination didn't make the list. It was another MotoGP race. I believe it was Aragon, the fight scene around the world between Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia.
It's a great
That's
choice.
okay. Great race, but I understand why it wasn't on the list. Of these four, I'm going to have to lean towards RJ on this one. This year's Indianapolis 500 had a little bit of everything. The racing quality was superb. Four-time Indianapolis 500 winner crowned yet again. Strawberry milk forever.
Yep.
And after the terrible, no good, and very bad 2020 Indy 500, that was a hell of a way to come back.
Gentlemen, you've made a compelling argument down the bottom there for the Indy 500. Now, see, my nomination was the MotoGP Grand Prix in Austria, which was already shaping up to be a classic, and then the rain came down with 6 laps to go. If you have not seen the end of that race, I highly recommend you do. Regardless of what motorsport series you follow, you do not need to be a MotoGP fan to recognise just how frankly ridiculous the last 6 laps of that race was. It's utterly terrifying what Brad Binder was able to do on that race. And even before that, the action was superb. This is tough. Like, I have to kind of pick between the Indy 500 and Monaco here. And for just how much I enjoyed it, comparatively speaking, I'm gonna go with King on this one, and I'm going to say the Formula E Monaco E-Prix as our race of the year. That was the best Monaco race of any kind I have ever seen in my 29 years of life.
I have no complaints with this.
You made Monaco entertaining.
Yeah, you basically get a free pass at that point.
Yeah.
We had a race around Monaco, not a procession. No, a race.
A proper one, with drama, frills, and brilliant overtaking. More on that in a minute. But our 2021 Race of the Year, the Monaco E-Prix for Formula E, everybody.
Everybody celebrate at the Steak and Shake at Sandoval.
Yes!
Go find yourself a sugar daddy in one of those upscale Monaco apartments and celebrate with some Steak and Shake. Up next, our next category is the Scott McLaughlin Memorial He's Not Dead, He's Very Much Alive and Thriving Award for the best overtake on both 2 and 4 wheels. This is, of course, named in honor of Scott McLaughlin, who once pulled off a successful overtake in a supercars race despite having all 4 wheels locked. And the nominees are
Nominees are Romain Grosjean for IndyCar, on Scott Dixon at Laguna Seca, the pass at the corkscrew. Romain Grosjean decided F it for most of that race, and it was fun. Max Verstappen on Lewis Hamilton and Esteban Ocon at the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, the stand-in restart that, yay, who needs starting third? Plea deals are overrated anyway. I'm just going to take the lead at the first corner anyway. Antonio Felix da Costa or Mitch Evans, the final lap of the Monaco E-Prix in Formula E. Quite possibly the greatest overtake in Formula E history. Utterly ridiculous final lap move from Felix da Costa on that one. And Verstappen's on here twice. He's got the other double overtake he pulled off in the F1 season on Lewis Hamilton again and Valtteri Bottas at Mexico. The move that will probably go on to win him that race, as a matter of fact. So, gentlemen, who gets the Scotty?
We got a good class of Scotties here. You know, people were good this year. They ate their Yeeties before stepping into these racing cars.
Yeah,
and quite a lot here of asking forgiveness, not permission.
I mean, it says a lot that one driver was nominated twice.
Yeah. Hello, Max.
Oh. We'll get into that overtake first. Max Verstappen, turn 1, lap 1, around both of the Mercs on the outside of turn 1 in Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Filth.
After a pretty severe underperformance in qualifying, Max took no time to correct that mistake. Broke way too late, yet not too late, kept it within the white lines, passed both Mercs, and then drove off into the distance, never to be seen again, until he parked up and was immediately ripped out of the car and hugged by Sergio Perez's dad.
Yep, adopted on the day. Good for him.
My Dutch son.
King, what do you reckon? You going to plump for Formula E twice in a row here?
No, Verstappen at Mexico City. That was amazing around the outside pass.
Yep. RJ?
I will once again go into my rationale behind nominating Antonio Felix Acosta and Mitch Evans at Monaco. That was the perfect climax to a perfect race of the year winner. For all the shit that people give Formula E about its driving standards, whether or not it's deserved or not, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. That was just everything you want Formula E to be. A last lap overtake this side of the race without a bunch of bullshit behind it. It's just a perfectly executed move at the Nouvelle chicane for the win of the race. Antonio Felix da Costa sized it up perfectly. And that's why I nominated him. That's why I'm sticking with that as my vote. Even if I'm sure that it's not going to end up winning, because I think I know where this is headed.
Really? I have to concur with King and Cam on this one, 3-1. So the winner of the overtake of the year, the Scotty Award, the Max Verstappen double overtake on Hamilton and Bottas at Mexico. When you outbrake and overtake Lewis Hamilton by the better part of 30 meters around the outside of turn 1 at Mexico, which is a treacherous corner to begin with, right? In one of the longest runs to turn 1 of the year, 3 wide. That's the move of a world champion, which is what he would go on to win. And it says a lot that he made this list twice. He took risks that he was not prepared, that no one else in the field was prepared to make. And Max Verstappen on another level off the line this year. Our Scotty Award winner, Verstappen and Hamilton on Bottas at Mexico. Nominated by me, Cam, and one Lewis Sotheby. Shout out to Lewis out there as well, so thanks to him for sending in the ballots.
Disclaimer, Michael Massey was not involved in any of the decision-making in the Motorsport 101 Awards.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
This isn't right! Onto our next set of awards. The most improved, or the most improved, depending on how you read it. This is the award given to the person or team that has made the biggest step forward between the 2020 and the 2021 racing season. It was pretty tight just to make this list. I will say, because we had a lot of one vote getters. This vote was split a lot of ways, but only the top 4 advanced.
Indeed. So your nominees are for the most improved athlete of the year. Representing IndyCar, Rinus VeeKay, who took his first IndyCar Series win earlier this year. A World Superbike mention from our man Lewis Toprak Razgatioglu, who we don't talk about World Superbikes on this show as much anymore, but he conquered the mountain of Jonathan Ray after 7 years of dominance. Jonathan Ray was defeated.
Suzuka. You see what happens now.
Revenge is a dish best served gold in this case. Representing Formula 1, Lando Norris out of McLaren, who finished 5th in the championship this year. Actually, 6th, sorry. And representing MotoGP, Francesco Bagnaia for the factory Ducati team in MotoGP. Those are your nominations. King, who do you reckon?
Toprak.
Toprak. Wow, okay. King, one word. Toprak. He beat
Rack 'em.
Cam, who do you reckon?
The more I think about it, I think King raised a really good point. When you go from pretty good in World Superbike to frankly smacking up Jonathan Ray for most of the year, which doesn't happen. Damn. Just damn. However,
I love that you said that Toprak made a good, King made a good point there. He just said the word Toprak, and that was that constitutes a point. I love it.
But here's
Go
the
on,
thing.
Cam.
It's like with Francisco Bagnaia. It's like all the improvement came through from last year, and also about 3/4 of this year. And then when it finally hit, it hit all at once, and he proceeded to bowl over everything in his path, as long as he stayed on the bike, however. Compared to last year was Pecco was very promising, but very flawed. This year, legitimate contender for fastest motorcycle rider on planet Earth.
And a bona fide 2022 MotoGP World Championship contender. It has
Probably
to be
favourite for next year, I would say. I would go as far as to say. RJ, who do you reckon?
I nominated Rinus VeeKay. He was a rookie last year. A driver that I nominated for Driver of the Year was also a rookie last year. I kind of want to spread these votes around strategically and recognize that, like, Rinus VeeKay took a big step forward, especially in the first half of the season. Like, before he broke his collarbone, in the month of May, he was just automatic. Won the Indy Grand Prix in May, did well in qualifying, was leading a chunk of the 500, and the potential is there. I mean, he's still, like, just 21 years old. The potential's still there to become a multi-time IndyCar Series champion. And that's why I went with Rinus VeeKay. Our community members that voted for Lando Norris, they raise a good point, because as we talked about, like, if we cut this season off like 3/4 of the way in, Lando Norris is our driver of the year.
Probably.
Or at least in the discussion.
Yeah.
And then
Hard to
Sochi
argue
happened.
against.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone popped that balloon and well, you know.
Yeah, never quite recovered from there. Yeah, shout out to our old friend of the show, Adam Johnson, for nominating that one. Lando Norris in the inbox there. It comes to me, and we had 3 different nominations here, and do I go with what I originally nominated, and that was Francesco Bagnaia, or do I dare change my mind? I'll give you a hint. It's going to be on 2 wheels.
That's entirely fair.
This is tough. But for the way he closed out 2021, where he won, I think it was 4 out of the final 6. It should have been 5, really, with a 5-pole run to end the year, where he was still winless before Aragon had even happened in MotoGP. And then it's the old cliche of once the first win comes, it just comes thundering down, and you're now looking at someone that might very well be the best motorcycle racer on the planet going into 2022. It's a terrifying thought. For me, the most improved goes to a man that almost lost his job at Ducati last year, Francesco Bagnaia, for MotoGP in the factory Ducati team. Man is a monster. Look out for him next year in MotoGP. Him, Fabio, possibly Marquez, possibly Mir. It's going to be a fantastic title fight. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, you're going to want to get that video pass if you can get it.
Yeah.
If you're a cable or satellite company or streaming package has MotoGP on, you should turn the hell in.
Spend that money.
That's right. Up next is the Motorsport 101 Antoine Hubert Award for the Best Rookie of the Year. In 2019, we opted to honor the memory of Formula 2 driver Antoine Hubert by making him the namesake of our Rookie of the Year award. And then Formula 2 decided to do the same thing on their own accord right around the same time. But the spirit of saying this is the best. Still for the best rookie of 2021 in any series. Our nominees include our reigning, defending, undisputed Antoine Hubert Award winner from last year, if we were to have one, of course.
Yeah, the nominees are representing AlphaTauri in Formula 1, Yuki Tsunoda. That was an interesting one from Rezi and Oliver there nominating that one. The Formula 2 champion for this year, Oscar Piastri. Because Prima and Titletown still winning, baby. Still winning. Representing IndyCar and Dale Coyne Racing, Romain Grosjean for IndyCar over there. And, fun fact, one of the most highly requested community votes of them all, Moto3 World Champion Pedro Acosta, who became the youngest lightweight world champion in Moto3 since Loris Capirossi in 1990.
Damn it, you're taking my talking points out from why I nominated Pedro Acosta for the award.
Go on, RJ. Lead us off.
First and foremost, I love Yuki Tsunoda, but this was not his best year. There will be better years ahead of him. Romain Grosjean had a fine enough rookie season, but he's a little bit on the side, and that's fine. But, it comes down to me between Oscar and Pedro Acosta. You could not go wrong with either one of these dudes.
No.
Oscar Piastri did something that is very rare to accomplish, winning the Formula 2 title in his rookie season. Winning consecutive, I believe it's 3 consecutive championships up the Formula racing ladder in consecutive years, King.
Yes, because he won the Formula Renault Euro Cup, then Formula 3, and then Formula 2.
Formula 2, yeah.
And that's really impressive. But then you get to a 16-year-old rider in Pedro Acosta, who, going into the season, was probably not even the most highly touted 16-year-old rookie going into the Moto3 G3 category.
That was even Guevara.
Very little talk about him going into this season.
And then from the moment he put the hammer down in Qatar in the second race, it was just like, oh boy, we're seeing a really, really special rider. And he closed the job. He closed the job. He won the championship. He had his highs, his lows. He survived a terrifying multi-bike accident at Circuit of the Americas, just for good fortune. But, hand over my heart, my gut feeling was leading toward probably the most exciting motorcycle racing prospect we've seen since Marc Marquez.
Quite possibly. Cam?
Pedro Acosta. 16 years old. Fast, brilliant bike-to-bike. Knows how to manage a race. Knows when to be aggressive, when to back off, when to bring the points home. Sensational.
Yep. King?
Gotta go with Acosta. While Piastri's record is really impressive, it was expected that he would do well, especially with the team he was at.
Titletown, baby. Yeah.
I don't know if that necessarily delegitimizes what he accomplishes, though.
Oh, no.
I just think that Acosta was just that a little bit more impressive, given that it's a much harder series to win a title in your first season.
Yeah, and with little to no hype behind him. as King said, Piastri has been highly rated. Obviously, he just won 2 championships in a row. And while he was very good, he wasn't overwhelming until really the second half of the year. From the moment Acosta got on a Moto3 bike, he was sensational.
Yeah, this is the first clean sweep. I've got little to add here. He pretty much won in every way, shape, or form you can in Moto3. You look at the Moto3 Hall of Fame runners from the last half decade. Joan Mir, Jorge Martin, Marco Bezzecchi was right up there. Lorenzo Dalla Porta. There's some really talented names that have won this title in the last half decade. Pedro Acosta is the single most exciting talent I think I've seen since Marc Marquez on a motorcycle, and I did not think someone would get up to Marc Marquez 2010 levels, and Pedro Acosta did. The kid's a monster. I don't know what artificial lab he was created in, but whatever it is, that's some good shit. It's a unanimous clean sweep. The Antoine Hubert Rookie of the Year award goes to Pedro Acosta in Moto3, and if there's anything to go by, we could have the youngest Moto2 world champion next year as well, because then that would be terrifying. We got one of the funny awards coming up now, haven't we, RJ?
That's right, folks. If you've ever met up with somebody on a personals app of your choice, and you decide in a pre-Omicron society that you want to get to know yourselves biblically, but it just turns out to be a disappointment. Things turn out floppy. That's right. It's our Floppy Award, the Motorsport 101 Floppy Award registered trademark for the biggest disappointment over the year. Any driver, any race, any series, any team is up for grabs.
Yep. And we got a wide range on this one this year. The nominees for the Floppy Award are McLaren's Daniel Ricciardo for basically getting completely railed on by Lando Norris this year. Need I say much more on that one? Poor Daniel. Andretti Autosport brackets minus Colton. A signature one from Krista Harday on that one. So shout out to him. He's in the chat right now. Hashtag voted for Pedro, apparently. So good for him. But yes, Andretti Autosport is a nomination in there. Penske at Indianapolis, which I thought was quite a funny one. I almost have it like 2 cars in bump day. Will Powell sweating. It was not a fun time for most of Penske at Indianapolis at the 500 this year. And a overwhelming amount of fan votes for the Aston Martin Formula One team, including half of the hosts of this podcast are on this one. I wonder which 2 they were. Any guesses at home?
You'd be surprised to know that one of them was actually given an opportunity to speak with their team principal, not in person, not too long ago. Love you, Matt Bishop. Amar, you seem like a really cool dude. This year was not it for you folks, because you had just come off of a winning season with the pink Mercedes. And everybody got their slice of hubris because Aston Martin came into the season looking like they were going to be Formula 1.5 champions on a runaway, and they were just solidly mid at their best days. They got a podium out of it. There were some flashes of brilliance once Vettel got comfortable in the car, but it just wasn't all there.
No. King, what do you reckon?
What's that shirt you're wearing? What's that shirt you're wearing, Dre?
It's flannel.
I think it says a lot when all the other nominees come with caveats, where it's Daniel Ricciardo, that's in itself a caveat. Like, yes, he had a bad year, but he won a race this year.
Yeah, I mean, that does help.
I think that might make it worse, actually, that he won a race yet was comprehensively destroyed by his teammate on the year.
And Andretti Autosport, you also have to put in that caveat minus Colton Herta, because, and
Colton Herta was great.
Penske, ... at Indianapolis. Only one of these was consistently disappointing the entire season.
Now, I'll go. I nominated Penske at Indianapolis. Now, you could have said Penske all year because Penske were going nowhere. They were spinning their wheels, minus Joseph Newgarden. Even most of his year was pretty awful.
Somehow finished second in the
Indianapolis, yeah, because and that does not reflect on Penske's form across the team. That reflects on Joseph Newgarden being real good. Because at Indianapolis, you are Team Penske. You literally own this place.
You do.
Yep.
Hey, big
and
money
you had
for it.
Will Power wall riding to get into the field.
On bump day, yeah. That was, Did you ever think you'd see Will Power, who in the last 3 years has become one of the best oval racers in the world, like, struggling to get through on bump day? That is wild. No one has been able to... Hang on, let's cut your cap. No one has talked me out of Aston Martin, and if anyone wants to try, feel free, but it's not happening. This is not a democracy.
May I also reinforce Cam's point here by saying, look, you can also extend this to the Penske-backed Beretta Autosport team, who also had to go through the last row shootout. If it wasn't for Simon Pagenaud, scratching and clawing his way to the front in third place, this would have been an embarrassment. The best thing that would have happened to Elio Castroneves' chance of winning an Indianapolis 500 for a fourth time was him being let go by the team that employed him for 21 years.
It's
All
amazing
three of the other ones. And yeah, Pagenaud, who won this race 2 years ago in crushing fashion, had to ascend beyond mastered Ultra Instinct just to get third.
And then at the end of the year, it was just like, well, not dealing with this bullshit anymore. Bye.
Elio, you got room over there? Good. Strawberry milk for everyone. I'll be wearing pink during the IndyCar season preview for 2022.
Beautiful.
But let's break into the real disappointment on the year. Aston Martin stunk.
Yep. Aston Martin. No hope, all disappointment.
Rub it in, why don't you, King? I mean, you're not wrong, but Jesus. Look, this was the team that got caught out by the regulations. Otmar was throwing his laptop at anybody prepared to listen at the start of the year, and they never really recovered from that.
Threatening legal action. Threatened legal action against the FIA for checks notes, something that happens every time that technical regulations change in Formula 1.
Yeah, like that Gran Turismo sports video. You got to do things not to make yourself look bad, and Aston Martin cried more about it profusely on a regular basis and never really recovered from it. They got one podium for the year. Their own... we don't talk about Hungary. But they were the team that we were all penciling in for third, and then they ended up seventh. That is a awful season.
A lonely, sleeping in the middle of the desert on a tarp, seventh.
Yeah. Disappointment. The Floppy Award goes to Aston Martin, everybody. And I'm very sad about this. We love you, Matt, but sorry, buddy. This one's heading to Silverstone. Speaking of
British Racing Green,
I know.
The livery and Sebastian Vettel's radio were the only pleasant parts of this year for Aston Martin.
And the time that the Monaco TV director cut away from Sebastian Vettel making moves at Monaco to show Lance Stroll clattering over the curbs in the swimming pool. Now, at least Aston Martin had expectations going in on them, but what if you were just bad with no expectations? Well, that puts you into the bracket of our Participation Cup, given to the rider, driver, or team that was just simply there. Just there.
Yeah. They were just there. They existed. We are confirming their existence. The nominees for the Participation Trophy are IndyCar's Dalton Kellett, who was just there a lot. Bless his heart. He seems like a nice enough guy, but he was just there a lot. Haas Formula 1 team, because good lord, Haas certainly existed. Alfa Romeo got nominated in this category as well by quite a few people. And Valentino Rossi made the shortlist. You cruel bastards. Also, I love that one nomination was from the biggest Valentino Rossi fan I know on Twitter, Kevin Walsh. That's genius. Way to go, Kevin. That's funny, I must admit. So, who do you guys reckon wins the participation trophy for the year?
I know that Jimmy Johnson had a bad season in IndyCar, but there are mitigating circumstances that he's a 46-year-old rookie switching from stock cars. I know there have been questions about Matt Chilton's commitment to IndyCar.
On holiday.
But Dalton Kellett, I've never seen a driver achieve as little as Dalton Kellett without even being like... It wasn't even like just... this driver is having multiple accidents, looking clearly out of their depth. He's just there.
He's just there. Yeah. Who do you reckon?
A-line guy himself, Dalton Kellett. But is there... It's number one, Alfa Romeo. They actually scored points. They didn't finish last this year.
They weren't dreadful. You can't vote for Alfa Romeo when Haas is there, can you? Oh dear. Cam, what do you reckon? Tough one, man, actually.
Actually, to be honest, of all of our nominees, this is the biggest achievement they will achieve all year.
Probably.
The mere nomination, because they put more effort into getting nominated than anything in their respective craft. I'm going to stick with my nomination. Uralkali Haas F1 team. We expected nothing from this team. They had the most bodged together, clearly just a regulation changed car just to get through this season.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it was somehow worse. It was somehow far worse than we ever could have feared. They were getting curb stomped by Williams. One of their drivers got 20 and 0'd. One of their drivers lost to someone who only did a couple races in the standings. You finished 21st in a 20-driver series.
More on him later.
Nothing could have been more perfect for all the discourse going on to Haas driver number 9 than him spearing off into the void in that pathetic joke of a Formula One car, the very first racing turn of his F1 career.
This is a tough one. Actually. I honestly... Cam made a very compelling argument with Haas. Valentino Rossi's nomination was funny. One, because Kevin put it in there, and two, my brother put it in there as well, which is also quite funny. That's it, I must say. It's got to be Dalton Kellett, hasn't it? It's just, if there is ever the definition of he's just happy to be here.
I see the point. You know what? You know what I realized there?
Yeah.
Haas were too bad to merely participate.
Right.
They were actively stinking up the joint.
Right. But at least Dalton Kellett didn't hurt anybody's feelings.
He did nothing.
Right.
Counterpoint with Dalton Kellett, though, he's at AJ Foyt Racing.
Doesn't help. It doesn't help. But the participation trophy goes to Dalton Kellett, everybody.
Right.
It's only award all year.
AJ Foyt Racing bringing home some hardware. God,
not often you can say that.
First time since Takuma won at Long Beach.
Right.
It feels like it was 20,000 years ago. Right. On to some more serious and more glimmering awards. We now move to our Team of the Year award for the best team of the 2021. It just says the 2021. I guess it's the 2021 season. This can be any team from any form of motorsport, any at all. But there were only 4.
Ooh, this is a tough one. Nominees for the Team of the Year. Mclaren for their 4th place in the Formula 1 Constructors' Championship this year. KTM Team IO, a great shout here for their championships in Moto 3 and Moto 2. And by the way, if you haven't seen Moto 2, they seal clubbed the entire field in Moto 2 with Remy Gardner and Raul Fernandez over there. Aki IO, the class of the MotoGP Junior ladder Red Bull Formula One team for taking a championship out of Brackley for the first time in 8 years, which has to be worth something. And IndyCar's Chip Ganassi Racing for having all 3 of their major contenders in the top 8 of the championship, including Alex Palou, the series champion himself. Tough one. What do you guys reckon? King, I'm going to you first on this one. Team of the year.
I should say KTM.
You really should, shouldn't you?
I'm gonna go Chip.
He's going to go with Chip.
The Pennsylvania-educated man is defecting against his motorcycle love to go root for the Pennsylvania man's racing team.
Traitorous heathen over there, King. How dare... Take that hoodie off right now.
It makes sense, though. It makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Cam, what do you reckon?
My nominee ain't on this list, and I can't understand why. I can't understand why, because fuck him. At least the driver that ended up winning. However, where the hell is Hendrick Motorsports?
You know,
that's a very good point.
That's a very good point. Again, it was a tough list. We are most nominated team only got 4.
Yeah. No one.
Y'all got to put in votes. Like, come on.
Yeah, no one's an NASCAR fan voted.
Yeah,
God,
Sasha, that traitor.
Our NASCAR fan base, this notoriously NASCAR centric podcast that we host.
Of course,
just letting the side down.
Well, if I have to pick between these 4 pathetic, inferior teams, got to go with Red Bull Honda F1 team. Not just because I still haven't taken this jacket off since the last show. I actually shower in this now.
Yeah,
but because dubious circumstances aside, we can't really put them aside, but, you know, they toppled Mercedes-Benz Formula One team. At least for one championship. And really the championship that the fans care about, if not the shareholders.
Of course.
Max Verstappen was goddamn ridiculous. Operationally, once they shook off some of their early season yips, they were very opportunistic. The cars were pretty reliable unless they were either in the final race and in fear of pulling out a safety car or being speared by a Finnish bowling ball. And they beat Mercedes.
They beat Mercedes. That's a competitive enough sentence in itself. RJ, what do you reckon?
This is tough because the team that I nominated, forgive me, it's slipping my mind who I nominated for it. I must have not been as convicted enough in my choices, but for me, out of these choices, I gotta go with Red Bull F1 team. I've been kind of cold on Christian Horner the last few years, but I'll give the credit. The devil is due. That Netflix, that made-for-television heel bastard. He ran a top team. It exceeded all expectations. They took a title off of Mercedes. They may not have won the constructors, but they certainly split the pot, and that is good enough. They delivered a car that could capitalize on Max Verstappen's immense potential, and Max Verstappen in turn had a fantastic season. Sergio Perez did have his highs and lows, but overall, did damn near about all he could to secure that Constructors' Championship along with it. I feel confident in Red Bull, but it's not an easy one, this award.
You know how terrifying it is? Is this the first time Mercedes has not been on this list in the history of this podcast?
I'm pretty sure in it. I'm pretty sure this is the first time.
There's no Penske. There's no Prima.
Yeah. There's none of RJ's pick because he picked the Ducati F1 team on it. He picked the Ducati MotoGP team on his original ballot. Funnily enough, I did dig that up in the preliminaries. This is tough. This is a choice between 2 for me. It's between Chip, which was my original nomination, and Red Bull. And just the idea of giving an award to Christian Horner, who's like the perfect anime villain with the smoking hot wife at this point. It's like, I just don't want to do it at this point, but they climbed the mountain. It's like the top rack point all over again. It's like somebody finally beat the mountain. It's like someone winning Takeshi's Castle. It never happens. So you just kind of have to appreciate it when it does. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to say Red Bull. It's going to Red Bull on this occasion.
You let King out here on an island.
Out!
I went with him earlier on Monaco. It's only fair. I'm balancing the books. And look, Verstappen was bloody brilliant this year, and a lot of that was down to his team, excellent strategy calls, producing a car that was finally good enough to topple the monster that is Mercedes, and I think the team deserves some credit for that, don't you? So I think it's going to go to Red Bull Formula 1 team on this occasion. Just beating Chip Ganassi Racing. It's a shame because they had a phenomenal year in IndyCar this year. And shout out to Team IO as well, who were bloody brilliant in Moto 2 this year as well.
Destroyed Moto 2.
They won the team's championship in Aragon in September. That's how far they clobbered the field.
I should switch my vote to Team that, but it's already done and dusted. It's time to move on. We can't look back. We can only move forward to the hashtag Beat 'em Down Excellent Award for the most impressive individual effort on 2 and 4 wheels. 2 or 4 wheels even, but maybe it could be both. If someone were to do the John Surtees thing again soon, I'm sure that'd be. But anyway, our nominees are
Shane Van Gisbergen in Sandown, who went from 17th to 1st in his first race after breaking his collarbone. Trust the our resident Australian sock and our partly Australian traitor Adam Johnson for nominating for that award. He might also be supporting.
Hey, we love some Giz on this show.
Oh, yeah. We do love... Be careful how you pronounce that. We also have Colton Herter at Laguna Seca. That was an almighty clubbing from Colton Herter over there as well at Laguna Seca in IndyCar. Pedro Acosta, Qatar Race 2 in Moto 3, where, and I've joked about this many a time, he won a race from the friggin' pit lane. That was a thing that happened. And Lewis Hamilton with his plus 24 overtakes on the weekend to come from the back to win in Brazil. Sort of. But it counts. So, the Beat 'em Down Award. RJ, who do you reckon?
Did I really write Laguna Seca when I meant to write down Long Beach?
Ooh. Whoops.
Because, the Laguna Seca drive was good, but the Long Beach drive was even better.
Incredible.
He had to cut through the field on a track that's hard to pass on. And by the time the championship was always up, Colton Herta was just scooting the fuck away. Colton Herta put in some damn good drives. That Long Beach drive was so good. Folks, is it okay if I just take a piece of crayon here and I just scribble out the Laguna Seca and then write it underneath Ong Beach? Because I got an L here already.
Or just putting California.
California.
Colton Herta in the state of California. This is a perfect compromise. Colton Herta owns the state of California. Colton Herta would be another celebrity pick for governor that can actually stand for change.
Sure, that could work.
Nah, the big knockwood.
The big Gig, who do you reckon?
Hamilton, Brazil. Come on, leading back in the field to the race win. Of course, obviously, the sprint race was in there, but that was one hell of a race weekend.
Lewis Hamilton single-handedly made the case of why they should flip the field for the sprints.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Man, literally out here influencing the direction of sporting regulations going forward, and that's why he's hashtag blessed 44.
Cam?
Can't stand y'all. Not putting up my picks.
It'll help the battle.
I got to load up the ballot. I got to start faking some votes.
Yeah. Start posting from your burner accounts.
Of course, all 5 of them.
I'm not useless. Call me on Twitter. Cut that out. I'll take it to the police.
Go on, Cap.
It was none of these. It was Hendrick at Dover. They finished 1, 2, 3, 4.
That is pretty beat him down. But this is not an NASCAR show, so tough shit.
Pick one. But we have to talk about Alex Bowman.
No, we don't. Not for this segment.
Damn it. Of this set, Pedro Acosta, he won from the pit lane. I don't need to say anything else.
All together to the tune of a certain Chelsea player being in extramarital affairs. He won from pit lane. He won from pit lane. Pedro Acosta. He won from pit lane.
Pit lane. And that was where my nomination was, and that was Pedro Acosta. To win any Moto3 race is a hard task most of the time. To win a Moto3 race from the back is virtually impossible. We've seen guys like Danny Kent and Fabio Quartararo try it in years past. To win a Moto3 race from the fucking pit lane is out of this world. And I'm really...
otherworldly.
Yeah,
it's difficult to quantify how nuts that is. Because we don't see it. Period. Point blank. We don't see it.
Yeah, like, the pit lane was worth about 15 seconds. To come back from that far back in a Moto3 race to win it on the final lap is utterly ridiculous. I'm going to split the tie. Pedro Acosta's got his second award of the night. Pedro Acosta winning from pit lane in Moto3. Via singing rendition from RJ O'Connell, wins the Beat 'em Down award for the year, because that was the single most impressive performance I've seen all year. That was utterly insane. Pedro Acosta wins the Beat 'em Down award of the year. RJ, this is one of the big ones, and I think this one's going to be quite hotly contested next up.
That's right. It's the series of the year. Straightforward. It's the best racing series of 2021. And we got our big hitters. We got our big ones on the board. MotoGP, Formula E, IndyCar, and Formula One.
Oh boy.
I'm just going to start out here. Anyone who nominated Formula E should just leave.
I'll say this.
Out of the Discord, you'll get your severance package in the P.O. box.
Yep.
I'll say this. Formula E was never uneventful.
It was chaotic, but chaotic bad.
I really wish it was more uneventful.
It was chaotic. It was like chaos. It was just firmly in chaotic evil, and then Monaco just swoops in as like lawful good, ascending to heaven. So in that sense,
there is hope.
There were some fun things that happened in Formula E, but there was also a hot mess. I did not vote for Formula E. I did not vote for any of these on this list, but I had to say this year in IndyCar was pretty damn outstanding. First time winners. Another fun championship fight that doesn't have to get muddled down with wacky officiating or double points or any other gimmicks. Fun stories up and down the field. It was some good racing. Another year where practically anybody has a chance to win. And yeah, it seems like the same few teams, the same few drivers are always in contention, except we did have some new faces up in the championship fight with Pedro Award and Arrow McLaren SP.
King, who do you reckon?
World Championship, Formula One. How could you not? This is one of the best seasons since 2012.
Oh boy. Cam. The silence is telling. This is tough.
It's a tough one.
Because IndyCar was fantastic. First time winners, great action, phenomenal Indy 500. But Formula One, it was pretty good. But we had the bad officiating at the end. But we had great wheel to wheel and a great championship.
Hardly experience.
Yeah, like
hey, on it neutral.
Formula One gave us the kind of year that we wish Formula One had been, like all these last 5 seasons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when Red Bull isn't dicking around in the wind tunnel. They make a half decent car.
I know.
Shout out to Adrian Newey, who is probably one of the toughest people alive, by the way.
Oh yeah, dude, I say this with no exaggeration, broke his head.
He broke his head.
In
broke
places.
His head in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Formula One.
Is MotoGP
So now
is MotoGP about to get no love in the Series of the Year nomination?
No. It's MotoGP's own fault for that they were not able to reach the dizzying heights they've reached in years past. This was a good MotoGP season. It wasn't a great MotoGP season, which says a lot about the state of GP where that was like a 7 out of 10 season was deemed a disappointment.
Yeah, it's like a 4-star match from Kenny Omega instead of like a 5, 6, or 7.
One-winged angel.
Nobody kicks out of that.
This is tough. Do I break the tie and go for the series that made me feel better about it, or do I go for the series that had the year that we all kind of low-key want Formula One to be?
Honestly, 5 years from now, which one of these seasons you're going to be talking about?
Formula One it is!
God damn it!
For the first time...
I have you know, when society is collapsed, those on the ground will speak of the strawberry milk.
I was going to say, like...
Speak of the fried chicken.
I think this is the first time ever on the award show we've given the Series of the Year award to Formula One.
It's the first time Formula One ever won.
Congratulations, Formula One, the pinnacle of motorsport. This plucky underdog startup championship.
Pinnacle of motorsport finally made it to the top.
That's right.
Truly, it has truly climbed the mountaintop, and all it took was some decent racing, the crippling of a Mercedes, and some dodgy officiating. Way to go, Michael. The award's heading your way. Look out for the angry hate mob with the pitchforks and the Hamilton t-shirts behind you. It could get a bit rough in these streets. Now, time for some funny real quick.
Yes.
It's time for the Never Log Off Award. It's the award given for the best meme or just general sense of humor that came out of motorsport this year.
That's right.
And we got some fun ones
we got 4 nominees. We have the Bathurst 1000 being invaded by an echidna in the middle of the race, which I thought was funny. The ongoing social media disaster that was both Jim and Jesse Glickenhaus from New York.
Oh,
Jim and Jesse from New York, as we call them. Lucas deGrassi trying the Jeff Burton at the 2002 NASCAR All-Star race / Michael Schumacher at the 98 British Grand Prix at London. And it didn't work. And El Plan. Fernando Alonso's cryptic catchphrase that caught on like wildfire in social media. But, hold on, there's another. Oh, no, it's the Michelin Man again. The Michelin Man was our 5th nominee the whole time. He was just waiting around the corner.
Nope, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Everyone pop your anti-horny pills.
We already know who the winner is.
Margaret Thatcher in a swimsuit. Margaret Thatcher in a swimsuit. Margaret Thatcher in a swimsuit. Okay. I got it taken care of.
Go on, King. Who do you reckon your social winner is here?
Jim from New York. Gotta throw the hometown guy under the bus because no one likes him.
Oh, God damn it! This is the one time that people have universally come around to say that Fernando Alonso, who has been cast as one of the prickliest characters in Formula One for the past 15 years, this is the first time that he has been universally beloved to all but his most ardent haters.
Yep. And just like Fernando Alonso, he's gonna get awful used to finishing in second. Cam, what do you reckon?
Look, I'm the sports car guy. You know, I've been waiting. This has been boiling over the surface for the whole year. screaming about balance of performance, building a car that barely looks like it's from this century, claiming the regulations are written against him, trying to be the plucky underdog while also being a millionaire.
It's not even that good.
Screeching bloody murder about how everyone else's car is outsourced while his car is outsourced. It can only be one. James Glickenhaus. You bile-spewing hypocrite. Log off!
And your cowboy hat looks like shit.
No, that's just petty. Oh, no. Look, I don't think we've ever given an award on this show to a sports car category before. I think it's only fitting we break the duck in year 6.
Yes!
Well, Cam, you've got your moments. The Never Log Off Award goes to Jim from New York, everybody.
Like accept the award on his behalf and toss it into the Hudson.
Bing bong!
We share one brain cell. Up next is the Collapse Award, aka the Secret Base Registered Trademark, not endorsed by Secret Base or the VOTS Media Group, Collapse Award, given for the biggest ongoing downfall or own goal executed on the season. And as we go through the list of nominees, Dre, you're going to notice a theme. And if you are a fan of both motorcycles and musical instruments, you may want to just wince at this one if you don't tune it out already for the next 5 minutes.
Play a little tune, like Jeff Jarrett and the Acoustic Equalizer. The nominees for the Secret Base Collapse Award. Kevin Harvick for going from 9 wins last year to going winless in 2021.
We are a NASCAR podcast.
There's more on that later. Valentino Rossi for having one top 10 finish all year in his final year of motorcycle racing. Sigh. Maverick Vinales, his teammate at Yamaha, albeit for about half the season, for intentionally trying to blow up a motorcycle on a live racetrack. So much so, he was sacked for it. And more Yamaha, the entire Petronas SRT team, who had an unmitigated disaster. Frankie Morbidelli got hurt, Valentino Rossi was mediocre, and Petronas themselves left the damn sport, and they were stuck with having to sign Darren Binder. It's, time. How do you go from the best team in MotoGP to arguably one of the worst?
Hey.
It's been a hard year. It's been a hard year. So,
terrifyingly, I think we can make a case for all of these.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is hotly contested.
I mean, Kevin Harvick, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if the effects of Father Time are finally starting to catch up to him or not, but I mean, we know it was doing that for Valentino Rossi. I mean, dude wanted to go out like Michael Jordan in '98. He went out like Wizards Jordan.
No, because you can't say that during the week where 20 years ago Jordan dropped 51 at the age of 38. Jordan was still good for one of those.
It's more like Rockets Barkley at this point.
Oh God!
It's more like, and I'm sorry to bring this up, but it's like Shaq of the Celtics.
Ooh.
Shaq ran out the string. Maverick Vinales has but one mitigating circumstances. He lost his younger cousin, Dean Bird, in a motorcycle accident, and that sucks. That genuinely sucks. It's been a bad year for riders, but man, I'd never seen anybody just completely have their relationship between themselves and their employer gets so toxic that they're just trashing a bike during the middle of a race.
Yeah. Jake, what do you reckon?
So I do have to mention that a certain someone during their retirement year was assembling all the parts and pieces for their own MotoGP team for next year. And they announced a title sponsor without actually finishing the deal.
From Saudi Arabia, no less.
Uccio
got conned.
Oh, no, it's only
they
the second biggest shit show to come out of Saudi Arabia in motorsport this year.
There's a list. This is tough, but mitigating factors or not, a man tried to blow up a motorcycle in the middle of the season. It has to be Maverick Vinales. It has to be. I'm sorry. Maverick's already testy relationship with Yamaha completely imploded. Almost like his bike did in Austria over the course of the season. And I'm sorry. Like, if you're trying to endanger yourself and others in the middle of a Grand Prix, that is a collapse of monumental proportions for a man.
He was already going off the boil even before then. He was having another one of those Maverick seasons where it's like, the potential is there, but he's not reaching it. Because, like, when Maverick's on it, he's on it. But lately, those days have become less and less and less.
Indeed. Cam, real quick. Go on, Cam.
Here's the thing with Maverick. Because on any other year, you'd be 100% right. But you're 100% wrong, because Maverick Vinales was already the biggest disappointment in MotoGP for years to this point.
Oh my god!
We're going to go back and we're going to give every collapse award to Maverick Vinales. We're going to grandfather it in. But just for now.
Sorry, Alvaro Bautista.
Petronas SRT Yamaha were so disappointing the team died. They're dead. They're being resurrected under a different name and same ownership, different sponsorship. Valentino Rossi was cooked, boiled, braised, and smoked. And, as if that wasn't bad enough, you forced Frankie Morbidelli, who already came into the season injured and only got more injured to the point where he had to rebuild a knee that will probably never be the same. You forced him to keep a 2019 bike for purposes of evaluation between that old bike and the new one, hedging your bets that the old one would still be better. They were nowhere, and then Frankie got hurt. And then they brought back Andrea Dovizioso, who, bless his heart, really not in form on that Yamaha, which again, 2-year-old Yamaha, can't really expect much. But the thing that gets me, the thing that tugs at my heartstrings.
Oh, we can never tell.
You signed Darren Binder.
You're not letting this go, are you?
Maverick Vinales, on that day in Austria, was a danger to himself and others. Darren Binder is a danger to himself and others every time he throws a leg over a racing motorcycle.
Oh, that's harsh. Come on.
Dude! Have you seen some of the crashes that he has caused?
Can I just
He's going to be on a 300 horsepower prototype next year.
I appreciate that Garrett Gerloff, Cal Crutchlow, and Jake Ditson have caught no strays so far. I mean, there's still time. There's still time on the clock.
There was no expectations.
No. You make a competitive argument, but I'm going to stick with Maverick because Maverick was totally self-inflicted. There was a lot of mitigation or an SRT on that one. They were loyal to their man Binder. I can understand in a cutthroat world of motorsport that they wanted to stand by their train wreck. So we'll see how that goes next year. But Maverick takes the Collapse Award. The next up, we have the OSW Championship for the best fight on track this year, whether it be on or off the track. And shout out to our man Lewis for the funniest nomination I've heard all year. John McPhee versus Jeremy Alcoba in Qatar that actually was a fist fight, which was brilliant. Which I love
really,
that
that
John
gets extra points.
I love that John McPhee threw a punch at Jeremy Alcoba, even though it was Darren Binder that caused the accident. It's
proving my point.
Yeah, I gotta get another hit off of this, but there are some good ones. We also had Fernando Alonso versus Lewis Hamilton in Hungary. A great on-track fight. We go back to an on and off-track fight between Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott in Bristol.
Ooh,
and
oh my God.
Mercedes versus Red Bull in Formula One.
We got some laughs out of Harvick versus Elliott, didn't we?
Yeah.
The problem is that it's not really Harvick versus Elliott. It was Harvick versus himself that ended the beef because he looked at Chase Elliott in his mirror, got scared, and crashed himself out of an elimination race.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Do we go with that? Do we go with the actual on-track fight, which was Alonso v Hamilton, or do we go with the title fight between Merckx and Red Bull? What do you reckon, King? I see you checking out there.
Harvick versus Elliott, without a doubt.
I look back on it, it's like Harvick and Elliott just got up in each other's face and pointed at each other a lot, and they had some ugly things to say about it but they didn't throw any actual punches. That is a heated confrontation.
No, because they threw punches with their cars.
Yeah, the next week at the Roval.
Oh, yeah.
At the Roval, yeah.
Yeah, but this is not specifically for Kevin Harvick versus Chase Elliott in Bristol and the Roval. This is for Kevin Harvick versus Chase Elliott in Bristol.
I'm not even going to ask Cam.
Specific.
I'm not even going to ask Cam on this one because he's been pining for NASCAR all day, and we got to give him something.
No,
quite frankly.
No, because I'm not picking this one.
Oh, okay.
Come on, it's Mercedes versus Red Bull in F1. On-track battles, off-track battles. Toto Wolff and Christian Horner catfighting constantly.
Yes.
For the laps. Mercedes versus Red Bull.
Yeah, Mercedes versus Red Bull in F1 would be my actual choice out of the choices that are on this list because, like, look, this is a fight that spilled out into the most tribalistic corners of social media on every single platform.
But can he punch like an angry Scottish bike rider? Exactly. But no, I'm with you on this one. This was the transcendent fight in all of motorsport this year. It was Merckx versus Red Bull, and they win the championship belt for Fight of the Year. It will be decided between Toto Wolff and Christian Horner in a Hell in a Cell match sometimes in February.
All right, folks, it's time. We're in the big three now. We're in the big three categories. And no better place to start than with what I consider one of the most prestigious awards in all of motorsport. This award is one that really changes the game. It honors the very worst of motorsport. That's right. Some of us call it the Fallon d'Or. It is also officially known as the Golden Cock. This was a hotly contested award.
Definitely. One
that, could set a precedent for things. Either sometimes these people can just fall into obscurity, or they can be launched into unforeseen superstardom after winning this award. There are 4 really good nominees. And they are
Formula 1 driver number 9. You know him. We know him. Nikita Mazepin. For existing, essentially. Lewis versus Max discourse and toxic sideshow, especially on Twitter. That's a big one right there. Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus. Sports cars made the Golden Cock this year. Amazing. What an achievement the Glickenhaus has got.
Is Jim gonna sweep?
Oh, we're pulling for New York here. Bing bong. And, of course, I know it, you know it, we was always going to be here. Michael Massey and the entire FIA, and I think you know why. So, gentlemen, I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. Is there any reason to go against Michael Massey on this one? Because we all know who the favourite is here. King, you first.
I feel like awarding Michael Massey the Fallon d'Or would encourage people online to keep going after him. Not I'm saying he's not deserving. I just sort of want to move on and let the FIA investigate this. I'd rather give it to someone who needs the spotlight and the attention so everyone could point out how terrible they are as a person and as a motorsport competitor. That's why I want Scudery and Cameron Glickenhaus to win this award.
Are we going to get the biggest upset in the history of the Motorsport 101 Awards here? Is Glickenhaus going to say... Cam, are you doubling up on this?
I want to amend one.
Go on.
The FIA, but not specifically Michael Massey. The whole Monty. The whole organization. Because how quickly we forget as far as motorsport officiating. Formula One was just one section of god-awful officiating. The whole year in Formula E, Monaco aside, was a mess. Mm-hmm. Over-engineered rules that could be gamed, and the FIA punishing them in real time. The WEC finale.
Ooh, that was rough.
The dump and run scene around the world.
Yep.
God, the FIA stank this year. However, Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus.
Oh,
God.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you going to put me in an untenable position where I have to go for Glickenhaus if it's 3 against 1?
No, you don't. Because King and Cam, I hear your points, but hear me out. If there was an award show last year, it would have probably fallen around the time that the Nikita Mazepin video came out. And if there were an award show, it would not have been a good taste to put him in, because that's like, we're trying to make light of like really bad guy shit. But a year would have passed since this hypothetical 5th annual Motorsport 101 Awards has not happened. And I think that would have been enough time for me to point out that Nikita Mazepin has no business being on a Formula 1 track. It's not just that his character would disqualify him from that, and it really, really should have. But hey, his father practically runs the team now. It's that dude looks so far out of his depth that you could not convince me that he was a title contender in Formula 2 for some point in time. He looked, for as much of a pig as the Haas was, dude got nowhere close. And even off the track, he was still berating his team. He was barely toxic to work for. He really did the minimum of like wanting to better himself as a person as figure of the sport. I'll give him only credit for one thing with this, that like raising money for cerebral palsy is good. I will give him that. But folks, Nikita Mazepin is just, he's not fit for purpose. And that's why I'm nominating him.
Do we want to reel off his qualifying record between
20
him and Mick Schumacher?
20-0 in favor of Mick Schumacher.
You've put me in a very difficult position here, chaps. All three of you made compelling arguments. And I have to break the tie. Do I go...
What tie? It's 2-1.
Well, oh God, you're right. I can't believe I'm going to say this. The Golden Cock for 2021 goes to Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus.
Yes! Your title is coming!
Fuck your life, bing bong!
It's the double for New York. King's Finest has brought home the most phallic of awards. The prestigious Golden Cock.
Trophy. That's the only trophy he's brought home all year.
I know! It'll go on the mantelpiece right next to his outsourced car. And it did a monumental job to beat the entirety of Formula One Twitter and the corporation that runs the series that we all love to hate. Congratulations, Jim. It's your moment. You win the Golden Cock.
This is yours, Jim. You've done it. Jesse, too, you've both won it. You, father and son, have come together between bad social media presence, bad gamesmanship. The only non-complicit parties in this are the Yoast Racing organization that, frankly, runs your team for your dumbasses, and the drivers who bail you out on a consistent basis. With those people aside, and for all the mechanics, you run an absolute shit show of a racing program. And
real quick.
but you've
one
managed,
thing.
yeah.
It's one thing that put this over the top for me, and it's him going on social media in a Facebook group that I believe RJ and myself are both part of.
Yeah.
And openly mocking and insulting Jan Mardenborough for a crash which caused spectator fatalities that was not his fault.
Yeah.
No.
Fuck that.
Fuck you, Jim.
Fuck that dude.
Yeah, screw that guy. Now,
Right.
the first half of the big two. And
The
in
Rider
honor
of the Year Award. And this year,
Award.
the Jason Dupasquier Award for Rider of the Year. It was a tough year. We lost a lot of riders. We lost Moto3 rider Jason Dupasquier. So this year, the Rider of the Year Award is named in honor of him. And we have got some good candidates for the Dupasquier Award in 2021.
2021 MotoGP runner-up Francisco Bagnaia. We have 2021 World Superbike champion Toprak Razgatlioglu. We have 2021 Moto3 champion Pedro Acosta. Could he get a hat-trick here? I don't think that's ever happened in a single award ceremony. And we have the 2021 MotoGP World Champion Fabio Quartararo. Gentlemen, Rider of the Year goes to...
Fabio. Fabio's got to get it.
It's a win for the Gen Zs here, folks. You've got Kings go Fabio, Strailing, zoomed in on the mic and everything. Cam, what do you reckon?
For me, it has to be Toprak.
Ooh.
Toprak overturned the walking winning machine in Jonathan Ray. And did it emphatically. Did it in a way where going into the final races, there wasn't a lot Ray could do with him.
No.
And we haven't been able to say that since Ray stepped onto a Kawasaki.
Indeed.
In a year where nobody was consistent, and a year where Marc Marquez was still on the mend, Fabio Quartararo put together all the potential that he showcased in his rookie year of MotoGP, which was not too long ago. He vanquished the demons of a painful 2020 over-the-season collapse and put together a phenomenal season for Yamaha with basically no other help around him. Because we've already gone at length about the situation with Maverick, the turmoil within the satellite camps, and Fabio Quartararo put together one of those great seasons that really should put him in the discussion of being an elite rider for many, many, many years to come. There's no unworthy nominees in this bunch.
Indeed.
I just think Fabio's that little bit better.
I was going to say they've all been phenomenal in their own ways this year, but Fabio Quartararo finally put together the season that we all thought he was capable of, and yeah, the kid's a monster. He is the future of this sport. There is no doubt about that. For me, I'm with King. I'm with RJ. The Jason Dupasquier Award for Rider of the Year goes to Fabio Quartararo, our MotoGP World Champion. Unlucky Toprak. Any other year, you might have had a decent chance at that one. Because we have gone Jonathan Ray before on this show in years past. We don't gloss over World Superbikes, unlike Dorna.
All right, you have another chance next year, Toprak. Now go beat Ray again.
Yeah, beat him again. That's fun. Now, the other side of the coin. The Driver of the Year. On four wheels this time. The nominees are Kyle Larson for Hendrick Motorsports in NASCAR for one of the great NASCAR seasons of modern times. I'm sure that will go over well. Shane Van Gisbergen, because the Australians piled on in force for their man over in Supercars. Alex Palou, the IndyCar Series champion. And Max Verstappen, the Formula One World Champion. This is going to be hard, but gentlemen, your Driver of the Year is...
Before I get to talking about my actual nominee, I just want to make the case for Shane Van Gisbergen. He started the year with 6 consecutive wins in a pretty long supercar season, about 31 races long. 6 a row to start the year. took his second series championship on a fucking cancer. If nobody else is going to make the case for Shane Van Gisbergen, I will, but I'm not going with him. I'm going with second-year IndyCar driver Alex Palou, who walks into the house that a Pennsylvania man built and a Australian-born New Zealand man did all the decorating, set the table, hung up all the nice ornaments, made the bed, vacuumed all the floors, only for this fried chicken aficionado to come in and win the title, starting with a win in his first race with the team, coming within a half a second of ripping Elio Castroneves' fourth Indy 500 title away from him, miraculous come-from-behind victories, holding off the charge of Pedro Award, holding off the charge of Joseph Newgarden, holding off the charge of his own teammate Scott Dixon to become IndyCar Series champion. And oh, by the way, he didn't even use his wet weather prowess. That's how good this dude is.
Alex Palou walked into the House of Pancakes and demanded fried chicken and waffles.
That says it all. It's perfect. Cam, who's your pick?
Oh, God.
Because we know you nominated Verstappen. Are you going to stick with
problem.
that?
That's the problem here, is that there's two drivers here that put together legitimate all-time seasons. I'll make the case for one driver first. Kyle Larson. That guy. That guy that wasn't in NASCAR for most of last year.
Wow, what happened? Did he hurt it? Did he break his leg?
No, he broke the switch terms of service. He switched terms of service pretty hard.
Yeah, he was in gamer protocol.
Oh, okay. So he suffered season-ending cancel culture.
Yeah, of course.
He suffered he suffered a season-ending dumbass moment.
Can I just say, by the way, that the dichotomy between Larson and Mazepin is like so distinct. It goes to show that people don't care about like athletes being canceled or whatever the fuck if they're not performing. If you need another example of that, look at how many people are rushing to the fence of Matt DiBenedetto, who didn't just let his mask slip, he ripped it off of his face and Gronk spiked it in the trash while pounding his chest. And I've already made my case for Mazepin.
Yeah, but irrespective of his actions off the track, Kyle Larson on the track was terrifying this year. Everything he stepped into, he won in. He won in NASCAR. He won the championship in NASCAR, both in the traditional sense and in the meme playoff sense. He led a rejuvenated Hendrick Motorsports to record their record-breaking win at the Coca-Cola 600 to take the most wins in NASCAR history. And outside of NASCAR, everything he stepped into, he won. That is no exaggeration. However, Kyle Larson is Kyle Larson, and Kyle Larson will get no love from me. As a former huge fan of his, it pains me to say that. I wish I could celebrate this as a season of a driver I supported all the way up through the ranks.
Oh, trust me, same. I wish I didn't have to think about all the other people, all the other influencers of social media volunteering to be his PR rep when he didn't need it.
When he himself, owned up to what he did.
Yeah.
And has at least taken steps to try and rectify it. It's not my place to say whether he ever can. In my belief, I don't really think he can. But enough about him. Let's talk about my nominee. Max Verstappen brought down the entire vending machine on Formula One this year. Were it not for finishes that were outside of his control, all mitigating circumstances, he would have wrapped up this title early.
Probably.
He broke the podium record in the season. He had a worst finish outside of Hungary when he finished 9th in the points with about, what do you say, about 2/3 of a Formula One car still attached?
I'd say that. He had his car canned open. That was his only non-terminal damage of the season that he suffered.
Other than that, what was his lowest finish, guys?
Second. First, second
place.
or mitigating circumstances, which likely end in a retirement.
Damn. Just damn.
I was a big fan of his when he broke on the scene. I know I've cooled on that, but the reason why I was attracted by why I like Matt's coming up is that, you know, there is always this hype of this upper level potential, this ruthless aggression that he had, and he put it all together.
I'll say it here. The first opportunity he gets in a title level car, he just up and beats Lewis Hamilton, you know, probably greatest driver to ever walk this planet Earth.
In the top four.
Michael Massey circumstances aside, because let's be real, probably should have had the title wrapped up earlier in that point, but someone didn't want to back out off the inside of cops.
It happens. King, where do you sit on this?
I'm gonna have to go with my pick, which is gonna seal it. Max Verstappen. Like, it's hard to argue against the statistics. Like, it might be Alex Palou's second year in IndyCar and winning the championship. That is very, very impressive. But the season that Max Verstappen put together is going to be something that will go down in the history books and be remembered for decades to come as one of the close title fights in the history of the sport.
The only thing that could have put Palou over Verstappen's season as it was is if he had taken that Indy 500. And second by a couple car lengths ain't bad, but you either win or you don't.
I was giving it some thought, and I was like, I literally said, and this is how Cam's in my head. I said to myself, if Palou had done the double and won the 500, I probably would have taken him by a nose. But Verstappen was just phenomenal this year. Like, 10 poles, 10 wins, 18 top 2 finishes on the year, mitigating factors on all 4 races he didn't, and beating, in as pretty close to near equal machinery as we've gotten, Lewis Hamilton, arguably the greatest driver of all time. It's Max Verstappen for me, and our driver of the year, Max Verstappen, ladies and gentlemen. And, but, before we get out of here, do we give him the overall Athlete of the Year award over Fabio
We're not
Quartararo?
doing this anymore. I thought we weren't doing this anymore. The overall Motorsport Athlete of the Year award. I mean, I guess we don't have, like, a Marquez versus the field sort of situation. So
no, we don't.
Yeah, we had to stop doing the award because Marc Marquez was terminally victorious.
Okay, before we get out of here, do we decide to proceed with our hastily arranged Athlete of the Year?
Verstappen.
It's
Verstappen.
Max Verstappen's season destroys Fabio's in every statistical category.
I can't type on this. Okay, I guess I just gotta, like, right on here. Max.
That works. We'll email it to Milton Keynes, it's fine. Just before we get out of here as well, big thanks to Jason as well on our Discord for putting the nomination list together, taking all the votes and taking the time out as he does every year. Much appreciated, Jason. Thank you very much for all your help. And I hope you guys enjoyed the Motorsport 101 Awards for another year. I'm going to go and fall asleep on my chair like Chrissy Teigen did. But before then, basically you can find us one more time, youtube.com/Motorsport101, facebook.com/Motorsport101, Twitter, Motorsport_101, our personal handles at Harrison101HD, and Ryan Eric King, and RJ O'Connell, and CBuckley917, Instagram, Motorsport101pod, patreon.com/Motorsport101, and our website, Motorsport101.com. I'm now going to spend the next week avoiding a certain page on a website that's got the name Top 50 written on it. Could be that.
Oh man, I didn't know OnlyFans got a top 50.
Bye, everybody!
Later, y'all!
Cam Buckley has left the building.